Hello everyone, I am Manoj Kumar. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are gonna see how to create a login form with Glassmorphism using Tailwind CSS and Tilt.js, and we are gonna do some awesome things like this using Tilt.js. And so if you guys are new to my channel, then just grab the red button down below so that you won't miss any contents like this. And you need to get Tailwind CSS pre-installed in your React app. If you don't know how to do it, I will just drop a link in the description as well as in the I button. Just check it out. So let's get started. So guys, I have created a React app and I have removed the unwanted files here, and I have just installed Tailwind CSS in the React, and I have just included those base components utilities in the app CSS file, and I have a Tailwind config file here to process CSS. So that's it, and the app is running the browser here. So first we just gonna say bg gray of 900 and a height of screen which is nothing but 100 bh, and a width of screen which is also 100 bh. You can see here the web page got the color of gray here. So now so guys, we are just gonna say position of relative and overflow of hidden, like so. And so now I'm just going to have a div tag. So guys, in Tailwind the width is up to only 20 rems, so we have to process the CSS to have more than 20 rems, but we can have percentages, but I'm not get used to it. I will just only use rem. So here I'm going to say a width of 40 dash r, which equals to 40 rem. I'm gonna have a height of, I'm just gonna say 40 dash r, which equals to 40 rem. And I'm going to also have 35 dash r, which equals to 30 rem. Here also I'm going to have the same in the width. So now here we can have a class name and height as 40r and width as 40r. So let me just reload this page. So then I'm just going to have background gradient to right, like so, and I'm going to have from green 400 to blue 500, like so. And then I'm going to have a rounded full to have a circle shape, a position of absolute, and left dash 2/3, which means 75%, which means almost 66% of the left, and minus top of 56. So like so. And then I'm also going to have a div of height 35-r, which is of 35 rem, and a width of 35-r, which is of 35 rem. And I'm just also going to have a bg gradient. So let me just close this. Just going to have a bg gradient to right from red 400 via pink 500 to purple of 500, which may look like this, but we are going to have a rounded full, which means we will get a circle and we will just have a position of absolutes, and we will just have a top 96, which means of 20 rem, and a left of minus left of 20. So something like this, we will receive something like this. So to make this thing fun a little bit, I'm just going to have a animate of pulse, which may look like this, and I'm just going to have a animate pulse also here. So this gives a little bit cool effect. So now I'm just going to have a container class with a height of 96 and a width of 96, which means 20 rem, of course, and a bg of white, a background of white, and background opacity of 10, which gives a nice glassmorphism for us, so it is visible around here. So to make this center, we will just gonna add display of flex and flex direction as column, and the justify contents as center, and item center, which means the align items which equals center. So we got it in the center. So now we will just say you guys can see that this circle is over this box, so we have to remove like a position of relative and z index of 2. So now this box is over the circle. So very simple, like so. So here I'm just gonna say rounded to excel, which makes our edges curvy, which is nothing but like a border radius. And I'm going to have a box shadow, but the Tailwind by default it provides a very little bit box shadow, and so I'm just going to process it with 5xl. Like I'm just gonna say RGB of 0.5. so I'm just going to include it here like a shadow of 5xl, which I gave the name around here. So here we will get a nice glassmorphism effect. So I'm just going to have a border and a border top of 0 and I'm just gonna say a border right as 0 and border bottom as 0, and I'm just gonna say a border opacity as 30. So this gives a nice effect around here. It is really noticeable and it is pretty much cool. So now I'm just going to have a backdrop filter like so, and a backdrop blur of Xampp, which means, so you guys can see the background blur here in the circles edges like so. If I remove this, it is sharp here. Now it will be a bit of blur, so which gives a nice effect. So now we will just create a form. We don't need this action because I'm just going to do the UI, but I do need the class name, which is going to be a height of full and a display of flex and a flex direction of column and justify contents space between, space evenly, and align items of center like so. And then I'm just going to have an input, so which is going to be our username first, like username. So let me just refresh here, and a placeholder of username. So sorry guys, I can just leave it as text around here, that's all. And I'm just going to have a input of password and a placeholder of password like so. And I'm going to give a title like a login form. To have it, I'm just going to have a div tag and a login form, and I'm just going to have a class name, and here I'm just going to have a input. Here I'm just going to have a input of submit and also a class name. Like so. So now we're just going to style these things inside here. So first I'm just going to change this font family as Opens. For that I'm just going to have a Poppins link from the Google Fonts. Just check it out in the Google. And I'm just going to have the font family in the CSS processing, like a font family with Poppins as Poppins and sans serif like so. So now I can just easily, so I can just use it around here like a font as Poppins. So now you can notice the change around here. The font has been changed, and I'm just going to give a text color as white, and I'm going to have a text size of 2XL. And then just I'm going to have tracking wider, which means nothing but the letter spacing. So just have to style the input, like I'm just going to have a class name of so now I'm just gonna say font Poppins, and text color of white, and I'm just gonna say bg of none. Just gonna say bg of transparent, so it will just remove our background. So here we got a ring outside the box. I'm just gonna remove it by focus, which means active, a focus outline of none, like so. Sorry, I have to add a hyphen. So now it has been removed, it is noticeable. So I'm just going to have a border, and I'm just gonna remove the border on 3 sides, like a border right of 0 and a border top as 0 and a border left as 0. So now this gives a really cool effect for us. And then I'm just going to have a tracking of wide, so which gives some letter spacing. So here I'm just going to have the same class names for the password, so I don't want to write these things twice a time, so I can just copy this, and I'm just going to have a class name called input text, and I'm going to have the apply directory of CSS, and I'm just going to paste these things. So now I can just have the input text here, and I can also just have the class name with the input text. So this is still compiling, we will just wait for it. So you can see it has been applied for both the inputs. I just used the apply directive of CSS, like so. It is really pretty cool. Here I'm just gonna say a font of Poppins, and I'm going to say a cursor of pointer, and a padding of 5 in x-axis and 1 in y-axis, and I'm just gonna have a rounded full, which gives curvy edges for us, and a awesome button like this. And I'm just gonna have the BG white and BG opacity of 50, which is nothing but RGBA 000.5, I think so. And I'm just going to have a hover of BG opacity of 80. So if I hover, you can see a nice effect here. So we have pretty much designed the web page, and I'm just going to have the tilt.js to have a nice glass effect. To have that, I'm just going to this website. I will just drop the link of this website in the description. Just check it out, and I will just get this command, and I'm just going to have another terminal here. And I'm just gonna run it. It may take a bit of time. So if I open the package.json file, you can see the React parallax tilt here, so that our package has been installed. So now I will just close this terminal, and I will just minimize this. So we have installed tilt, and I can just import it here, like tilt from React parallax tilt, like so. And I'm just gonna grab this div tag inside the tilt component. I'm just gonna grab this inside the tilt component. And I'm just gonna grab this inside a tilt component, like so. So if I refresh this page, we will just have an awesome tilt effect, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we can just have Manoj Kumar and the password, and I will just submit. We'll just have an up now. That's it guys for this video. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you need a detailed tutorial on Tailwind CSS, then just comment it down. I will just do a ton of tutorials on Tailwind, so let me know what your thoughts and views. So if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, then just go ahead and subscribe to it first, so you won't miss any contents like this. And share this video with your friends who wanna learn Tailwind CSS. Thank you for watching this video guys. Bye bye.